Welcome to Real Talk with Reginald D's motivational coaching question and answer segment. I'm your motivational coach, Reginald D. Today's episode is not just a conversation. It's a confrontation with habits, beliefs, and survival patterns that have quietly been running your life for years. A listener sent in this question: Reginald D, how do I stop people-pleasing without feeling guilty? First, I would like to thank my listener for their question. And I want to acknowledge the courage it takes to confront this head on. You're not alone in feeling this way. And I'm grateful you reached out. So let's dive right into it. There's one thing I want to say clearly right from the start. If you struggle with people pleasing, you're not weak, you're not broken, and you're not fake. You're someone who learned early that love felt unconditional, that peace came from keeping people happy, and that safety came from not rocking the boat. So today, I'm not here to shame you. I'm here to free you, because people-pleasing is not kindness. It's self-abandonment. And guilt is not conviction. It's conditioning. Most people don't please because they're nice. They people-please because at some point, approval became a survivor. Some of you learned that speaking up caused conflict. Some of you learned that being agreeable kept you included. So your nervous system adapted, and you became the peacemaker. But what once protected you is now imprisoning you. Scripture tells us, the fear of a man brings a snare, but whoever trusts in the Lord shall be safe. Which means fear of losing people will trap you, but trust in God will free you. That's why guilt shows up when you say no. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because you're doing something new. Guilt appears when your old identity collides with your emerging one. The old you survived by being needed. The new you is learning how to be chosen without performing. People pleasers confuse responsibility with obligation. You are responsible for your actions, but you're not responsible for other people's emotions. Even Jesus loved deeply, withdrew often, disappointed people, said no, and never apologized for obeying God over people. Galatians asks us plainly whether we're trying to win the approval of people or of God. Because if saying no makes someone uncomfortable, that discomfort may be the price of your obedience. People pleasing costs us more than you think. It costs us clarity, energy, identity, peace, and eventually trust in yourself. Because every time you say yes when your spirit said no, you teach yourself that your needs don't matter. Scripture asks, what good is it to gain the world and yet forfeit your soul? Because you cannot save relationships by losing yourself. This is where we clear up a lie. Boundaries are not unloving. Boundaries are stewardship. Jesus set boundaries around his time, his energy, and his mission. Even God rests. If God does not require unlimited access to himself, why do you? Proverbs tell us to guard our heart because everything flows from it. And boundaries don't push people away. They reveal who respects you. Learning to say no is not about becoming cold. It's about becoming honest. No is a complete sentence. Remember that. You don't owe explanations to earn the right to have boundaries. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. Because clarity is kindness, even when it's uncomfortable. Now let me give you a picture. Because sometimes truth lands when you can see it. People pleasing is like driving your life while staring constantly into the rearview mirror. You're watching who's behind you, who might be upset if you slow down, who might leave if you turn, who might judge you if you stop. And while you're doing all of that, you're barely looking at the road ahead. And then you wonder why you're anxious, exhausted, and unsure of where you're headed. You were never meant to drive forward while living backwards. The rearview mirror is small for a reason. And the windshield is wide for a reason. Because where you're going requires more attention than who you might disappoint. Saying no is you finally putting both hands on the wheel. It's choosing direction over distraction. Philippians remind us to forget what is behind us and march toward what's ahead of us, because purpose demands forward focus. And there's another image I want you to hold on. Your life is like a house. For years, the doors were unlocked. Everyone walked in whenever they wanted. Some stayed too long. Some took without asking. Some rearranged things that matter to you. Boundaries are not you locking people out. They are you deciding who gets the keys. Not everyone who knocks belongs in every room. As you begin to change, something else shifts. You stop shrinking in rooms. Stop dimming your voice. Stop apologizing for your presence. Because you were never called to hide. You are the light of the world. And a city on a hill cannot be hidden. Being seen is not selfish. It's stewardship. Confidence isn't loud. It's settled. It's knowing who you are even without affirmation. Saying no is not time management. It's identity management. Every boundary teaches your nervous system that you are safe even when others are disappointed. Every time you speak up, you rebuild trust within yourself. And self-trust is the foundation of peace. James tells us that if we lack wisdom, we can ask God. Because wisdom teaches us when to engage and when to disengage. When silence is strength and when truth must be spoken. As you grow, you stop rehearsing conversations. Stop over-explaining. Stop carrying guilt that doesn't belong to you. Because guilt loses its grip when truth takes root. Trusting the Lord doesn't mean you understand how people will respond when you change. It means you trust who God is shaping you into. Now I want to leave you with a challenge for the week ahead. Pause 10 seconds before responding to requests and ask if you actually have the capacity. Set one clear boundary without apologizing or explaining. Journal daily on what you're afraid will happen if you stop people-pleasing. And declare out loud every day, I am allowed to honor myself without guilt. Hold on to the scripture. It is for freedom that Christ has set us free. You don't stop people-pleasing by becoming colder. You stop by becoming whole. You don't lose love when you set boundaries. You discover which love is real. You were never meant to be everything for everyone. You are meant to be faithful to who God created you to be. And that is more than enough. Thank you for your question. And I truly hope it helps people today. Now, don't forget to send your questions to me via email at rsherman@realtalkwithreginald.com or visit my website at realtalkwithreginald.com or follow the links in the show notes. Make sure you share this episode with anyone who needs to hear this message today. And don't forget to subscribe to the show so you can receive alerts every Tuesday and Friday when new episodes are published. That's all for today's episode, fam. I hope you found this episode inspiring and helpful. And as always, thank you for tuning in. And remember, the day you stop people-pleasing is the day you finally start living in truth, freedom, and purpose. You don't honor God by abandoning yourself. You honor Him by becoming who He created you to be. And remember, you have the power and greatness inside of you. See you next time.